Welcome Sagittarius to your 2017 yearly forecast video. This will be a combination of astrology and I will be pulling 2 tarot cards per quarter. So 2 cards for January, February, March and so on throughout the year for the rest of the year. And so to start with Sagittarius, I'm going to talk about your astrology and your solar chart. And by the way, if you would like a more detailed specific reading to you, this is obviously a very generalized reading, please follow the links to my Etsy store where you can book a personal reading which will be much more specific to your personal circumstances. Okay, so Sagittarius, this year Saturn continues in the sign of Sagittarius. So what that's been doing is it's been causing some stress for you. It's been causing some feelings of restriction and a lot of hard work for you since last year when, Saturn, actually it's already been there, for over a year, Saturn in Sagittarius. So basically, you've been experiencing a lot of changes when it comes to yourself, and you've been having to get more serious in your life. It might have felt quite tough for you, and so this theme continues. But the good news is, because Saturn has been in your sign for some time already, you're actually getting quite used to this very hard-working energy that Saturn has been bringing to you. But the positive with it, Sagittarius, is it's been, even though you may feel like it's been restricting your freedom and giving you feelings of discomfort and strain, it's actually teaching you some very valuable lessons, and it will continue to do so for the rest of this year until December, when it actually Saturn actually leaves your sign. So that will be a sense of relief for you then, Sagittarius. So the early Sagittarians have already experienced the hard lessons from Saturn. So if you're a Sagittarian born in the earlier part of Sagittarius, you've already experienced the tests of Saturn, so you don't have as much pressure on your shoulders as those Sagittarians that are middle to late degrees, who will be feeling it more in 2017. Now, the sort of Sagittarians that will be feeling some tests in other areas will be those that are experiencing the square from the planet Neptune. So there will be Sagittarians from around the middle, born around the middle, let me see, where is it? Roughly around the 5th of December onwards. From around the 5th of December to around the 10th of December, to around the 12th, 13th, around there roughly, those Sagittarians will be getting the square from Neptune during the year. So during this year, this can cause a little bit of confusion with your identity. What I recommend when you have this type of angle from Neptune is to not get carried away with your ego too much, because what can happen is you can kind of fall flat on your face, in, so to speak, in a kind of metaphorical sense, because Neptune's really getting you to look at where you can come from the heart and be really sincere, rather than being of the ego or, full of bluster and hot air, but not really sincere. So it's more a spiritual energy in the positive sense that's trying to sort of work its way into your life, Sagittarius. So, you have some really positive things going on as well. So I'm going to talk to you about that. You have Jupiter transiting through your 11th solar house. So this is really good news. The reason being is because the 11th house is a house of dreams and wishes. And, so some of your dreams can come true this year, Sagittarius, when, Jupiter is transiting through this sector of your chart all the way through to October, mid-October this year. So you have most of this year to really have some really amazing experiences come your way, especially when it comes to friendship connections and things that you've wanted to do that you haven't been able to do in the past, maybe because you have been, having to face some heavy responsibilities. But it's almost like there are some Sagittarians who will have fulfilled their responsibilities, and those Sagittarians will be will experience the rewards that come from having made a commitment, whether that's in relationships, because it's Jupiter in Libra. So I'm factoring in the Saturn in Sagittarius as I say this. So, overall there's a feeling of, as you take responsibility, you actually experience more freedom in your life, which sounds ironic, but it actually is how it's working for you with Saturn in your sign. Now, excuse me. with Pluto, the planet of transformation and other people's resources, that planet is going through your finance sector, and it's also going through the sector of your physical body. So it's, you know, there may have been some kind of slowdown in some aspect of your finances or to do with your physical body, but there is a need for transformation here. It's not something that you can force, but it will happen in its own time. So some Sagittarians may have felt a little bit blocked in some aspect of finances, or that you're being tested around your finances. So that can be something that, you know, continues as a theme throughout this year. Uranus is in your 5th solar house. The 5th house is to do with creativity, self-expression, children, and romance. So for single Sagittarians, you may have had, you know, people come into your life really quickly and leave your life really quickly, or you may have had really exciting connections that sort of died off just really quickly, or just nothing came of them, or you thought they were going to be something great, or they just didn't last very long. Maybe some short-term connections were there. So, you know, you are learning from these people, but they're just people that, you know, they could even be soulmates, but maybe they're not in your life for a long time if you are single and you're meeting people in this sort of quick way. For Sagittarians that are in relationships, it could also mean that the romantic connection in the relationship is on and off or intermittent, because you've both got, you know, other things that you're focusing on, especially with Saturn in your sign, Sagittarius. You've been pressured to work really hard, so you may be quite drained, and so you may not have as much time for romance. So, you know, that could be the influence there. Or there can be some, if you have children, unpredictable energy with children there. The other things, let me see, what else was I going to say? I think that was the majority of it. The one key thing that I want to mention is that Jupiter will go retrograde, and, you know, it's your ruling planet, so that's why I'm mentioning it, from the 7th of February to the 10th of June this year, and it will be retrograde through your 11th house. So what that could do, there could be some changes in group dynamics. So any kind of group you're involved with, whether that's a group at work, a group of people such as a group of friends, or any other group that you're affiliated or connected with, there can be some kind of change in the dynamics there. There can also be some kind of shift to do with friendships as well, as Jupiter goes retrograde. So it will be interesting for you to see what happens when your ruling planet Jupiter goes retrograde between the 7th February and the 10th of June this year. It could also bring something back to you as well, or it could open something up. It could open a doorway up in some way in your life. So that will be interesting to make note of. Now, for those late-born Sagittarius, there's something else of benefit happening. Because the North Node is changing signs this year. It's changing into the sign of Leo on May 10th this year. So with this, what you'll notice, those late-born Sagittarius, is there's a sense of destiny and a flow around your purpose, okay, around the time of May 10th when that starts to happen. So it could go into May, June, July, as you'll notice this. So that is something that is to do with your destiny, your life path, some kind of opening. So there's some exciting things going on. Let me see, what else was I going to mention? That's right. So December, I think I mentioned before, December this year, Saturn finally moves out of Sagittarius, which is a big thing for you guys, and it moves into Capricorn, which is your 2nd house of the physical body and your finances. So it's a relief for you when Saturn finally leaves your sign. It goes into your 2nd house in Capricorn, and it means that there is some kind of extra responsibility or extra work that relates to either the physical body. You might start getting serious about looking after your physical body. You might start going to the gym, or, you know, really clean up your diet in some way, or clean up your, you know, what you put into your body. You may feel a little bit slower, so you may feel the sense of urgency to do something about, you know, old habits that you've had that relate to your physical body's well-being. The other aspect of this is to do with finances. So it can be a time where you are working really hard as well, but it will feel less difficult than, you know, basically the rest of the early part of the year when Saturn was in Sagittarius. So you should feel much of a sense of relief, Sagittarians, from December. I know it's a little while to wait yet, but you're at the end of these tests with Saturn. But also with Saturn, I want to say and I have other videos on my channel about Saturn in Sagittarius, which if you haven't seen them, I highly recommend them, because it talks about what you can experience very much in depth with Saturn in your sign, if you haven't looked into those before. But basically Saturn can be a doorway, so it can close off one aspect of your life and open up another aspect of your life. So that could be happening in some area of your life to do with your path, you know, what you want to do with your life and all that sort of thing. And what else was I going to say? So, you know, even though the lessons have been hard for you in the last couple of years, Sagittarius, it is teaching you something. It's not for no reason. It's been there to help develop your sense of identity, your sense of groundedness in yourself, and so that you can reach those heights that you want to reach for yourself. Now, I'm going to go into the cards now because I'm running out of time here. So let's look at the first 2 months of the year. Sorry, the first 3 months of the year for you, Sagittarius. And see, this one's popping out. So it's going to be for January, February, and March this year. Okay. Well, how about that? We have the Saturn in Sagittarius sign. My goodness. Okay, so sorry, the card, it's just amazing how this happens. This card is Saturn in Sagittarius, and that's what I've been talking about this whole time. And I think it only came up one other time in the whole, in all the other zodiac. Sorry about that. In all the other readings that I've done for all the other signs, it only showed up once. Now, what I get here, it's a pretty heavy energy, unfortunately. So it looks like the first part of the year is a little bit difficult for you, Sagittarius, from January through to March. And no doubt that's to do with Saturn in your sign still. It shows here that you're feeling burdened. And it could be that, you know, you're going back into the work year after a holiday that you've had, after the end of year break around December, the holiday period, and you're going back with a bit of a heavy heart here and a feeling like, oh, how am I going to get through all this work, you know, that I have to do, and this routine and this heaviness here. So, you know, what I'm getting with this is a lot of it is to do with perspective, and there is a real need to appreciate all the good things in your life that you have built up for yourself, rather than, you know, like what I'm seeing here is this castle here, which is up high, but there's a real sense of being very heavily burdened and really only sort of focusing on this rocky kind of path, you know. And the Three of Swords is a bit of a troubling card because it does talk about upset, and it does talk about some strain around your heart. So, you know, there looks like there needs to be some heart healing for you, Sagittarius, because of all of what you've been through in the last, you know, couple of years. With Saturn in your sign, it's brought you many tests, and some Sagittarians, there could have been some disappointments in love in the last year in 2016, or some disappointments in some other aspect of your life, and there's a need for healing around this, and there's a need to really release this and not carry this with you into the new year. That's one aspect of it. But as I said, some Sagittarians are just going into the new year feeling a little bit heavy-hearted, a little bit burdened, and you know, you may have had holidays and felt, you know, a bit more relaxed than you did when you were, you know, throughout the year. But this is like sort of having to face that energy again a little bit. And as I said, like what I'm getting here is to do with perspective and to really work on things like meditation and things that really heal your soul. So it's all about mental focus. And another thing I'm getting with this is look after your physical health, and because I know Sagittarians love to indulge, but what I'm getting here is if you are not looking after your physical health and you're indulging in something that is not good for you, whether it's diet related or anything else that you're doing, understand that it will have an impact on your mental, you know, your state of mind. You know, what you put into your body affects the mind-body chemical, you know, balance. It affects your hormones. It affects a lot of things that can get thrown out of whack when you put things into your body that are not good for you. So it's about that holistic approach and understanding that you can still enjoy and have indulgences now and then, but you need to sort of do things that are nurturing to yourself and good for you so that you can actually feel better in yourself. Okay, let's look at April, May, June for Sagittarius. This one here. And around. Let's see, April, May, June. That one. Oh, interesting. Okay, so what I'm getting with this for Sagittarius is... Sorry, I just got to fix this. I don't know what's going on here. It's not sitting right. Okay. Alright, so it looks like there's a need to... What I'm getting is work here for Sagittarius. And there is a need to make a change and be in charge of that change. So you have the Seven of Cups here. It's showing a lot of different choices here. And not to be distracted by too many different choices, but to really, you know, be guided to use your very good intuition, Sagittarius, to make a decision about changing a work situation that's not satisfying for you. And also this work situation, what I'm getting with this for a lot of Sagittarians, I feel, is that this work situation, it's either one of two things. It's either not bringing in enough financial abundance, it's not bringing enough income for you, or you're not being paid what you're worth, or you're not being seen for what you're worth or valued for what you have to offer. And it's like this tree, there's a real sense of deadness around the tree, in the sense that this is a stagnant situation for some Sagittarians, whatever your work situation is at this time. And this card with the Seven of Cups really shows this man here stepping forward and reaching out for that cup himself. He's not waiting for the cup to come to him, but he's actually reaching out to the one that's really attracting his eyes. So this could be about going for a different job, putting out applications out there and putting yourself out there and trying to get something better, something that, you know, is not holding you back anymore. Like I feel with this card, there's a feeling of being held back and not bringing in enough income. Okay, so it could be time around April, May, June, where you actually look for a new job, Sagittarius, or look for some kind of new start involving finances and something that you can really feel more positive about. July, August, September, the next two cards for Sagittarius. Oh wow, well, something's turned around for you financially in these months. That's amazing. So you have, what it looks like here is a feeling of, you know, very strong feeling of having taken charge and taken control and really stepped into that energy of authority and self-directedness, and you've really found something really amazing financially. The Ace of Pentacles with the King of Pentacles is brilliant, and it shows that you have stepped up in some way, you know, career-wise. It looks like by this time of the year, you've really stepped up. So wow, that's really powerful. There's an amazing energy with this. The gold in the coins really shines bright here for me. And there's a feeling with this King of Pentacles that he's taken control of a situation and he stepped into his authority. So this is about you, Sagittarius, really stepping into your personal authority, not hanging back anymore. So this figure here is definitely not hanging back. He's, you know, there's a feeling like he's comfortable. He's reached out for what he wanted and he's got it. And there's a sense of comfort, contentment, and definitely material abundance. So considering the previous card, which was the Five of Pentacles, which was a lack of material abundance, to have this show up is a really good sign for you, to show that you have the power, if you choose to exert it, to bring in much more abundance this year. And especially, you know, in this last part, well, you're not at the end of the year, this is for August, September, October. It's a really good time for you to make a change. So with regards to your work, your career, finances. So as I said before with the astrology, you know, dreams can come true for you this year, Sagittarius. So it is a time when you can put your best foot forward, and you've learnt a lot of lessons. You've done the hard yards, you've done the hard work, and you know, it's almost like you've done the hardest part, and now you can step into something really positive here. and reap some benefits and really go to a new level in a material sense, which I think for a lot of Sagittarians, it's about time that, you know, you guys really felt that energy and felt that the power of that, your sense of authority and capability, because you are very capable, Sagittarius. So, wow, this is looking very good. Okay, last 3 months of the year. October, November, December. Sorry, I think I might have said the previous cards was... Okay, so the previous 2 cards were for July, August, September, and these 3 are for October, November, December. These 2, rather. Oh, wow, interesting. Oh, this is interesting. So we have the 7 of Pentacles with the Justice card. Interesting, because it looks to me that a situation around work is definitely resolved, and there's a lot of focus on finances for Sagittarius in this reading. A lot of Pentacles cards, well, a few anyway. You have 5 of Pentacles, the Ace of Pentacles, the King of Pentacles, and the 7 of Pentacles. So there's definitely a focus on the practical, material side of life, finances, and getting ahead and achieving something. And interestingly, you know, the Justice card is about taking responsibility. So again, you know, we have this energy of work here and taking responsibility. And this is a powerful card, the Justice card. It shows that things are working out in your favour. So if there was a situation that was not in your favour previously in the year to do with the work situation, Sagittarius, it shows that actually ends up working in your favour. But there's a feeling of you needing to be proactive. Okay, so it's not that you should, you know, take on too much or push yourself too hard, but it's just being there, stepping up to the plate and saying, okay, I'm ready for something new. I'm ready to take this to the next level in my life, because that's the energy that I'm getting very strongly with this for you this year. I'm just going to see if there's anything else with these particular cards. What I want to say is, if there was an injustice for some Sagittarians in the workplace or to do with a financial situation, it's going to be rectified in the last 3 months of 2017 based on what the cards are showing me now. So that's very positive for you. And I do feel, you know, with this card, I'm looking at this man here, there's a sense of satisfaction here. Even though normally with this card it's a little bit of a just, you know, working and just waiting, there's a different energy with this particular man here standing here. He just looks to me like there's a feeling of job well done is what I'm hearing, and satisfaction. Okay. And interesting, because Jupiter in Libra in 11th house, this is, you know, we have the Libra energy here with the scales. And so something could, you know, as I said, work in your favour, but not only that, could really be an aspect of a dream come true in an aspect of your life with this card, with the Justice card. So that was your reading for the year, Sagittarius. I hope you enjoyed that. And as I said, if you would like a more detailed, specific reading with me, just go to the links below. And thank you so much for watching, Sagittarius. Have a fantastic 2017. Bye.